Okay, so here we are on 6.4, personal loans, lines of credit, and overdrafts. This section of the book is very similar to what we've been doing. Um, there's some keywords highlighted on the right. Amortization period is basically the length of a loan. Line of credit you can get from the bank. This is usually pretty solid way to borrow money. Usually this is you know your best bet in terms of borrowing money, and this often comes from a bank. You can get student lines of credit for tuition, for schooling. So yeah, these lines of credit usually have the lower interest rates, especially compared to things like payday loans. Payday loans have the highest interest rates. Overdraft protection, this is a feature of a bank account that allows you to spend more than you have. And the last thing here is default. Default means that you have basically screwed up and you haven't paid back your loan. This section talks about daily interest. We're not going to talk about daily interest in this course. So basically all these questions that involve daily interest can be crossed out. We're only going to work with annual interest rate because I've told you in the past lessons that you need to always use annual interest rate and always take your time in years, and the daily interest rate really just screws that message up. So I don't want to send you mixed messages and confuse you. So we're going to just cross out daily interest rate from this book. These first solutions are talking about solving for R. Solving for R, this is a process that you're going to need to be able to reproduce on a test, and I will show you how to do it on Build Your Skills number 1. So this guy borrowed $250 from a payday loan company and had to repay back $275. So if you think about it, the charge for this was $25, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, you're borrowing $250 and the price to provide that service to you is going to be 25 bucks because basically you repay 275 instead of repaying 250. So you pay back extra, and that's how the payday loan company makes some of their money. They've given you the time, 15 days, and they say calculate the annual interest rate. We are interested in annual interest rates, so we will do this question. For all questions in this section, we're going to use I equals PRT. In fact, for all questions in the chapter, you're going to use I equals PRT except when it says compound. So the interest is $25. That's what you paid to borrow the loan. The principal of the loan was $250. You're trying to solve for R, and the time is 15 days, which we have to adjust by dividing by 365. So to solve for this missing variable R, all you have to do is a little bit of basic algebra. So take 250 and times it by 15 and divide it by 365. So that would be, after some rounding, 10.274 R. So 10.274 times some number R is going to equal 25. So in order to solve a question like this, you divide on both sides. This is going to solve for R as a decimal. So 25 divided by 10.27 is 2.43. And that is the decimal for the percentage. Okay, so 243% is the value for R as a percentage. And you notice it's very high. Okay, if I went to the bank and asked for a line of credit, they would probably offer an annual interest rate of like 5%. So you can see how high interest rates can be for payday loans. And they're called payday loans because usually people are borrowing money until their next payday, which is like anywhere from 14 to 30 days. Okay, so here Hayden borrows 400 bucks and paid back 415 in 10 days. So $15 is the interest that he paid. The principal was 400. The R is unknown and the time is 10 days. So adjust by dividing by 365. 400 times 10 divided by 365. You can solve for the coefficient on R, which is 10.9589 times R. Divide that out on both sides. Then you solve for R. 15 divided by that is 1.369 after rounding. So I'll round one more time. When I convert to my percentage, it is 137% interest rate for an annual amount. We're not going to do any questions that involve daily, so you can cross out B. Number 3, Chantel borrows $200 from a payday loan store. She paid back the loan plus interest 7 days later. The interest rate was 397% per annum. How much interest did she pay? So in this time you're just solving for I. 200 times 3.95. Remember, these have to be converted to decimals. And the time is 7 days divided by 365. Okay, so 200 times 3.95 times 7 dividing 365 is $15.15. Which again, very similar to the question up here. You're borrowing 200 bucks, paying it back a week later, and they're going to charge you roughly $15. Okay, and like on the signs that I see when I'm driving down the road for payday loans, it's always like 20 bucks for $200. So the book is kind of accurate here with what reality actually is. So there's a question missing on my page here, but question 4 here, if you notice, it says percentage per day. We're not doing any questions that involve daily percentage. So you don't have to do 4 and 5. Those are omitted. Same with 6. Okay, they're omitted. They will not be on your exam. This next stuff, though, is on your exam. You need to know how to use this chart. So that's what question 7 will be. So it says calculate the monthly payment and the total amount paid for the following loans. I'm not sure what this finance charge is. That's probably the interest. Yeah, that's probably the interest. Okay, so the $3,000 and the 9% for 2 years, you need to go and look on the chart. So if we need to find 9% for 2 years on that chart. And you'll have the chart on your test, you'll have the chart on the quiz. 9% for 2 years, right there. So it's $45.68. Sorry. If you look at the chart, it says that's the monthly payment if you borrow 1,000. So all we have to do here is a little bit of cross multiplication. So that 45.68 that's how much money you would pay if you borrowed $1,000. You can see clearly here we are borrowing $3,000. So put it over there, and you're going to solve for X, the monthly payment. So Cross multiplying, 4568 times 3,000 divided by 1,000. It's $137.04. So this is the monthly payment you're going to pay for 2 years. So in 2 years, there's 12 months per year, so that's 24 months where you have to pay 137.04. So 137.04 times 24 is $3,288.96. Take out my highlighter here. This $3,288 is the total amount paid. The monthly payment is $137.04, and the finance charge is going to be the difference between the total amount paid and the actual loan itself. The actual loan itself was $3,000. Subtracting 288.96 is the difference. That is the finance charge, aka the interest. So B and C are identical, so I'll just let you try those on your own. You set up the cross multiplication, figure out the monthly payment, multiply it by the number of months and the years, find the difference, and then you'll have the finance charge. These tables on page 320, often if you go to like a car dealership or even like a small time bank, they'll often pull out these charts, and the person who's helping you get the loan will use the chart as a reference. Okay, so number 8 is like an application to this notion. So she wants to buy a used car that costs $2,900. She has $1,100 cash as a down payment. Down payments are cash. So the $2,900 is the price of the car. She's going to put a down payment of $1,100 on. So that means she's got $1,800 left to pay for the car. So she's going to have to borrow that from either the bank or the dealership. Next page here. She's going to get a loan at 6.5% per annum with an amortization period of 2 years. What's the monthly payment? So you need to look at the chart for this. We got to find 6.5% for 2 years. 6.5% for 2 years is $44.55 per month. $44.55 per month if she's borrowing $1,000. We said on the previous page she needs to borrow $1,800. So X monthly payment down there. $44.55 times $1,800 divided by 1,000 gives you $80.19. This is the monthly payment she'll have for the 2 years. So what will be the total she pays for the loan? Well, it's a 2-year period where there's 12 months per year of $80.19. So 2 times 12, 24 times 8, 80.19 is 1,924.56. And how much will the car cost? What do you mean how much will the car cost? The car costs $2,900. So $2,900 is the car cost. However, if you subtract the price of the loan from this other number, which is $124.56, this was the finance charge, which is the interest. Finance charge. So that actually gets added on to the price of the car. So 2,900 plus 124.56. The actual price of the car was 3,024.56, as opposed to the 2,900 that it was advertised for, because she had to take a loan. Taking on loans means you're going to pay interest, and interest is the price that you pay to borrow. So that's it for section 6.4. To finish off your studies, you should do all these homework questions, except for the ones that involve daily interest, so you can cancel 1A. Number 2, 3 is good, 4 is good, and for number 5, just cancel out number 3 and just decide between those two options. Then you'll hit the chapter test, and I'm pretty sure all these questions are okay. None of them have the daily interest. Oh, number 8A. Cross out 8A. And that should be it for the chapter 6.